And hello and welcome to the Gary Dunn Show for October 11th, 2016. I'm your host, Gary Smith. On today's show, we're going to talk a little bit about a little bit of an exciting football game on Saturday against IUP in the Coal Bowl 2016 edition. We're going to talk with Coach Dunn about that, and then we're going to look at the highlights from that exciting late evening game at Adamson Stadium. And then we're going to look back at last year's game against Clarion, who's this week's opponent, and then look around the PSAC scores and standings and kind of see where everything sits as we're firmly in the middle of the 2016 season. And the studio is very bright today. We actually don't have the lights on because, Coach, when he came in, your smile has been pretty bright since probably about 10:30 on Saturday night. Congratulations on a great win.
Thank you. Great win on Saturday. Awesome crowd at Adamson Stadium. Our kids played really hard, and we finally faced some adversity and was extremely proud of the way our guys overcame it and battled for 4 quarters.
And I tell you what, that was one of the games. A lot of times in sports, in any big games, there's hype, there's talk, fans talking, things written. But a lot of times, if you look at it back, there's a stretch of Super Bowls where they were boring. Like a lot of times, those events don't live up to the hype. And this game, pretty much from the time the coin was flipped to till the last player was off the field, that was an exciting game that lived up to the hype for 2 teams that were in the top 15 in the country.
Yeah, two good football teams battling all night long. We had it's funny, after we kicked the big field goal that we'll probably get to, we were making overtime plans. We switched rate with 50 seconds left. What are we going to do in overtime? Because we knew they're an explosive offense, but just really proud of the way our kids battled, fought, competed all night, and find a way to win a tough football game.
And in a game like that, it'd be easy because we usually talk about what the offense did well with the defense, the special teams. We'll get to that, but in a game like this, which is basically an instant classic, moments are going to live forever, and we'll talk a little bit about the individual moments. And obviously, you just mentioned the first one would be the big kick by William Brazil from the 40-yard line or 30-yard line, 40-yard kick. That's a heck of a spot for a player at any level, but let alone late at night rivalry game.
Yeah, I think it was his career long, and we have ultimate faith in Will that when we send him out there that he's going to collect points for us. Did a great job in a big atmosphere, at night. It was special to see him do that because he does work very hard, and to give him that opportunity to kind of lift our team, and that's kind of what we've been doing all year. Special teams have been a huge part, and Saturday was no different. And Will's getting a little bit of the credit for it, which he deserves because it was a big-time kick.
And before that kick, you were talking a little bit off camera. We were pinned back a little bit, and then Mike Keir makes a great throw to Gary Brown, who makes a great adjustment to put the team in that position. I can't remember if that was a second down or third down, but that was a heck of a throw and a catch in that situation to give your team a chance to win at the end.
Yeah, it was second down. I think it was 2nd and 15, and we called all vertical play with Gary, and that's who we are, and that's what we do is in a crunch time situation like that, we're going to rely on our guys to make plays, and Gary did a phenomenal job going up and getting the ball. And, of course, Mike put it somewhere where Gary could go get it. That was one of the biggest plays of the game.
And then another moment was in the second half. I believe it was the beginning of the second half. It might have been the end of the first half. I can't remember, but it was the short touchdown that Michael Keir had where it looked like there was a little bit of a mix-up in the background. But I tell you what, talk about poise under pressure, for him to remember where the blocking was and score. I mean, that was a heck of a jolt for your team.
So you don't think we designed that play?
I don't know. If you did, that's a great design.
It was a broken play. Our tailback went a little bit too quick, but then actually did a great job of picking up a block for Mike when he realized his footwork was kind of off. And that's what we teach our guys. When bad things happen, just continue to play. He threw a block that got Mike into the end zone. Of course, the tailback wasn't real happy because it would have been a walk-in touchdown for him. But our guys just continue to play hard, continue to be selfless, and John Franklin was the tailback, did a great job throwing a block to spring Mike for a big touchdown.
And Michael Keir again had another great afternoon. He was a Coal Bowl MVP, throwing the ball too. But a lot of the time in this game, he moved the chains with his feet, and that's not something he's known to do. But I tell you what, talk about a leader out there doing what it took to move the team down the field.
Yeah, IUP was playing a lot of coverage. They were trying to keep us in front of them, especially on those long down and distances. And our offensive line did a great job of giving him time back there. And Mike was able to scramble for a couple big first downs, scrambled for another touchdown late. So it was a good job by Mike not forcing balls. And I think that's really one of the best things that he's doing right now is not forcing balls and kind of taking what the defense gives and was doing a really good job of it.
And on the other side of the ball, the defense, once again, this is probably the at least from a fan's perspective, one of the toughest offenses your team has faced, and they did a great job, especially, California you guys got off to that great 14-0 run, and then you knew IUP was going to make a run, and it was going to be a game of runs back and forth, and I thought they did a good job after IUP did make that run. You guys made adjustments and really made life hard for IUP.
Yeah, I think what we gave up 7 points in the second half. Our defense is really leading us right now, and IUP, you talk about a tremendous offense that really plays to their strengths. They've got some big-time receivers. They run the heck out of the ball, and then when you add a quarterback that can run like their kid, it really adds a dimension that's hard to defend because they're going to spread you out and not number you with the quarterback. And I thought our guys did a great job of rising up, especially in the second half, and really giving an offense that's scoring a ton of points, only 7 points in the second half. That was a big difference in the game.
And I thought on both sides of the ball it was great, play calling both on the offense and defense because, a lot of times in a game like that you see offenses go up and down the field. But I thought, in the second half, great job of ball control by your offense. Then on the defensive side, getting the ball back so your offense could move the chains, eat the clock, and do what it took to win because game like this, one possession is all it takes.
Yeah, we had a couple really, really big drives there in the fourth quarter. Defense got us the ball back, and I think we went 75 yards and kind of ate up a lot of clock. And then, defense had another stand at about midfield, and we had the deep punt and kind of muffed that a little bit or screwed that up a little bit to give us the ball on the 2-yard line. But that winning drive started on the 2-yard line and drive the ball and eat the clock and kick that field goal was just shows our guys poise a little bit, that they believe in what we're doing and they believe in themselves and the effort that they're given really shows. And I thought that the other drive that was crucial was right before halftime when we scored with, we got the ball back with 35 seconds left and drove the length of the field and got a touchdown to tie it up. So that kind of gave us momentum going back into halftime, and that was huge.
Yeah, that was a great drive, especially, and you'll see on the highlights, IUP had just scored 35 seconds. You think, get into the locker room, but not you guys. You guys went down the field, and it was a heck of a drive because, you see the clock running, and you're thinking, well, maybe they're just, run a couple plays, maybe have a chance for a field goal, but you guys ran the table.
Yeah, we said if we got a good field position, then we were going to give it a shot and go, and that's who we are. We got it out to the 30-yard line, and I felt comfortable, because Mike's doing such a great job of managing the game, putting it in his hands and see if we get a little something going, get a big pass completion to Tom Green, another big one to Paul Butler, and before you know it, we're inside the 10-yard line. And we actually scored a little bit too quick. We had Coach Wilson, our special teams guy, didn't want to have to kick off again, but we had to kick off. So it was that was a great drive and a big momentum switch in that game.
And real quickly before we look at the highlights, we talked a little bit off camera too, just about the atmosphere. Great turnout. As I was saying, when the truck is parked behind the stadium, you can just see the fans lining up to get in, and it was a great atmosphere before the game. But you'll see some camera shots on the rebroadcast, and just flags in the stands, everybody on the feet. And I can't remember a louder game at Adamson Stadium, at least in my 20-some years of watching games up there.
Unbelievable crowd, and we can't thank you enough for coming out and supporting our guys. I thought the student crowd was awesome. I had pulled into the parking lot. We had some recruits on campus and was able to visit with some student groups on campus that were out there tailgating. Just an unbelievable college atmosphere at night under the lights, and really happy that especially the students came out. We had a great alumni turnout, probably more football alumni than we've had in a long time here, and just can't thank the fans enough for coming out and really getting behind us and helping us pull that one home.
And let's take a look at last Saturday's epic win against IUP in the Coal Bowl, and after the break you'll see the highlights of last year's game against Clarion, who is the next team up on the schedule. You're watching the Gary Dunn Show right here on CUTV.
They're going to give the ball to Jalen Bell. Jalen Bell just trying to get into the end zone, and he will. So now Lenny Williams Jr. moving over to his left, and Aaron Terry gets the interception here. That's his first on the season. Now the ball is in California's hands. Now Michael Keir coming back out, and he looks to go left, and he will go left, as that's going to be into the arms of Luke Smorey, getting into the end zone. As now Lenny Williams Jr. is going to make a cut up at the left of the field, and he's going to get into the end zone. They're going to throw it over there yet again, and this time it's going to be over the head of Nigel Garnett. Now they're going to look to go left, and actually switching back with Allen Wright, and they're going to push over to the left and just trying to bring Allen Wright down, and California cannot. They're going to give the ball to John Franklin, and actually no, Michael Keir's going to have it. Michael Keir's going to get into the end zone. Keir now dropping back to throw, staying in that pocket, throws over, and it's going to be picked off at the goal line. Now Lenny Williams Jr. is going to keep it over here, and he's going to go left. Lenny Williams Jr. now moving left, and he's going to get into the end zone. Keir gets the ball, and he's looking left, moving right. He has open field in front of him, and Michael Keir is going to get into the end zone for his second touchdown of the day. Kick is up, and it is good. So California on the leg of William Brazil getting ahead in this one. Dropping back in the pocket, Aaron Terry tried to pressure him. He's going to get it off, however, out to about the 30-yard line. He's in bounds, however, so that clock is going to run down, now showing the end of this contest. California gets the win. What a game.
Exciting Vulcan football is back this fall. September 10th at Cheney. September 17th versus Millersville. September 24th at Seton Hill. October 1st versus Slippery Rock. October 8th versus Indiana. October 15th at Clarion. October 22nd versus Gannon. October 29th at Mercyhurst. November 5th versus Edinburgh. November 12th versus East Stroudsburg. Catch all the action on CUTV and WCAL. CUTV's High School Football Game of the Week. Springdale at Jeff Morgan. Avella at California. Bell Vernon at Ringgold. Greensburg Central Catholic at Charleroi. Waynesburg at Southmoreland. Baldwin at Connellsville. Beth Center at Brownsville. Fraser at Bentwood. Bishop Canavan at Carmichael. The longest running high school coverage in southwestern PA is on CUTV.
CUTV News Center is California University of Pennsylvania's award-winning student television newscast. Your source for live, local, late-breaking news. Forecasts from the Cal U Weather Center. The region's latest entertainment news. Vulcan sports highlights and regional scoreboards. With television news coverage you can't get anywhere else. Watch it live Thursdays on CUTV and on demand. CUTV News Center. Online all the time.
Takes the snap again, play action, this time he goes over the middle, intercepted! It's Aaron Terry at the interception, he's got a lane from him, 40-yard line, trying to follow the blocker for field, 20, 15, down at the 11-yard line, what an interception there by Aaron Terry, it is Terry time. To the field and Gary Brown to the near side, Harris back to pass, he looks, he fires, he's looking for Gary Brown, it's a touchdown, California! Harris to Brown, it's 6-0 Vulcans. Williams behind him. Back to pass. He's going. He's got his man. Touchdown. Clarion. Evan Ginevro and the Golden Eagles strike right back. He gets the ball. Goes to the right side. Plows his way. Let's see what they call it. Touchdown, California. Sean Franklin, his 8th straight game with a touchdown. Third down goal from the 1. He hands to Franklin. He goes in the end zone. Touchdown, California. 20-7 for the Vulcans. What a start here on homecoming. Now Harris goes back by the pass. He's going for the home run for Gary Brown's underthrown and intercepted. Simmons, quick pass, loft pattern, looking for his man. Touchdown! My goodness, what a touchdown there. That is the second touchdown by Kevin Ginevro. He'll hand the Wheeler. He cuts it back up the middle. A lot of speed. Jimmy Wheeler, touchdown, California. He takes the snap back to pass. He's got time. He looks, he fires. Lehman, overthrown, intercepted. That's Vondell Bell. Cal's coming with the blitz. And it's intercepted! Cameron Tarver down the sidelines! He's going to take it all the way for the touchdown! Pick 6, California! snap, play action this time again, deflected at the line, intercepted again! Here goes Tyler Haddock, big man with football, taking this, no more at the 30-yard line. Unbelievable what's going on today. Harris, low snap, play action. He looks, he fires for Gary Brown, touchdown! California, Gary Brown, his second touchdown of the game on 4th down, and California having some fun in the rain. Takes the snap, back to pass, he's got time, he looks, loft pass, end zone, has a man, touchdown, Kyle Evans. This time Wheeler gets the ball, he's got a lane in front of him, look out, Jimmy Wheeler, bouncing off tackle, loses the football, picked up by Clarion, unbelievable. So he gets tackled down here, but Jimmy Wheeler coughs up the ball and gives Clarion new life. Simmons takes the snap, hands off Del Reese Williams. Looks, breaks a tackle, touchdown, Clarion. Back to pass, he is on a leap there by Errol Brewster, and it's going to be intercepted. I just called that, David. How fitting is it that Clarion's undefeated season ended by Jordan Bowman, and for Clarion, the glass zipper has shattered.
And welcome back to the Gary Dunn Show for October 11th, 2016. I'm your host, Gary Smith, sitting here, as always, with head coach Gary Dunn. And, Coach, we just saw the highlights of Clarion from last year, and we were talking while watching the highlights. Their team that you said, or I think everyone thinks knows is better than their record because they have a lot of weapons on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, they've played a tough schedule so far, and we were over at the office right before I got here, breaking it down and watching it. They played Bloomsburg, very, very tough. Playing really hard. They do an exceptional job of playing hard. But offensively, they like to spread you out, do a little RPO, run pass option stuff, and their quarterback does a nice job. And defensively, they get some kids that can really cover and very athletic on the defensive side of the ball.
And in some aspects of this year's game is almost a reverse of last year. Last year Clarion came into that game undefeated, top 20 team in the country. Last year, going into that game, California had taken a couple losses. Previously this year, California, we're running pretty well undefeated this year. Clarion's taking a couple losses. So what do you need to tell your team after an emotional win? I know it's business as usual, but what are some of the things as a coaching staff do you want to impress on the players going into this game?
Yeah, our motto has been the same all season. It's about us. We've got to execute better. We brought our guys back in yesterday afternoon and watched the IUP film and put that one to bed. And there was a lot of things that we felt we could have did better. We felt that at times we gave them opportunities on both sides of the ball to make plays, and I still don't think we've played our best football yet. And that's what I told the team yesterday. So we're going, just like every other week, going into Cheney, going into every game so far, we focused on ourselves, and we've got to get better. We've got to shore up our details and be more fundamentally sound in all aspects to kind of keep this thing rolling a little bit.
And going back on the road, you've been home for the last 2 weeks. Or anything changing in the weekly routine just because it's on the road? I know it's a later game than normal, but or is it just here's the time and back everything back to get you guys on schedule?
Yeah, we try and football coaches are all about routine. We try and keep everything as similar as possible every week, whether you're home or you're away. So we're going to keep it the same. Just we got a 6 o'clock game, so I think we've had 3 different game times in 3 weeks. So it takes a little time, but we just move the meal times around and try and figure it out. But we're going to keep our routine the same and continue to work and try and get better.
And it's a key PSAC West matchup. As I've said twice on the show, it's October 11th, which means we're right in the middle, and we're almost at the tail end of the season right now. Saturday's game is at Clarion, 6 o'clock. It's not too bad of a drive, so I'm sure Coach would love to see the visiting stands full behind them because, that more fans in the stand, that team just feeds off it.
Yeah, absolutely. We've traveled really well this year, so I'm hoping this Saturday is going to be no different. The weather forecast looks beautiful. Short drive up I-80, I guess, and so hopefully we'll have some fans there with us, and I know we will.
And for Saturday's game, we'll get to it a little bit, but it'll be live on 91.9 FM. WCAL. Unfortunately, CTV can't broadcast the game. Clarion has a contract with another company, so then there's not a lot of room at Clarion. So we have to just turn on the radio, and we'll be back at it next week for the homecoming game. But Coach, we'll take a look around the PSAC from last week. You guys obviously knew what happened because you had the last game of the day, but for the fans that didn't, Seton Hill over Clarion, this week's opponent, 27-23, and that was a game. Looking at the schedule, I really thought was going to be that result a close game because they seem to be very similar teams.
Yeah, Clarion was actually winning most of the game, and Seton Hill came back in the fourth quarter and got a couple big special teams play to come from behind and pull that one out. Clarion played exceptionally well on the road and really, probably are not as fortunate as they should have been to lose that game. Again, at Edinboro is putting a lot of points up right now, 5-1 and playing extremely well. Slippery Rock went up and beat Mercyhurst. Mercyhurst kind of came back a little bit there in the second half to make that game closer, and then of course our score, which makes me extremely happy.
That's a great, that bottom right, if we could just shade that out and everything else, that's the one to look at. And I'm moving over to the PSAC East. There's, I think, an upset, not really an upset, but I think, I guess it would be a little bit upset. I think before the week, if you say Kutztown over Bloomsburg, I think a lot of people would probably say, because Bloomsburg's been one of those teams that's been historically, them and Westchester have been running the PSAC East, but Kutztown 3-3 overall, but 3-0, winning at home against Bloom.
Yeah, that's a big win for Kutztown. It kind of puts them in the driver's seat on that side, being the only undefeated team in conference over there. That's a big win for them. The Westchester Ship game looks like it was a great game, and there's Millersville playing East Stroudsburg tough. So Millersville's hanging in there every week, playing everybody tough. Just haven't been able to pull one out.
I tell you what, that Westchester Ship game, leading into the week, Westchester had taken a couple losses, and I think some of the fans were thinking it was going to be a cakewalk for Ship. But Westchester, like I said, Westchester, Bloom have been the two teams in the East for the past couple of years. So, but it's been wide open for the past couple of years. That's what's so exciting about the PSAC. You're going to have games meaning something until the last whistle in November before the state game.
That's what we talked to our guys about. They all count as one. The IUP win wasn't any bigger than any of the other ones, and this week against Clarion is going to be a huge game. It's a big game because it's our next game, and we got to stay focused to have a chance.
Now let's take a look at the standings after this past weekend, third weekend of conference game. And Coach, that's a great sight. California on top 3-0, the only remaining undefeated in the PSAC, East or West. And then right behind there's Edinboro, Slippery Rock, and Indiana, all at 2-1, and all at 5-1, 5-1, and 4-1. So and then even Seton Hill 4-2 overall. That's a very good league right there.
Yeah, it's very balanced, very tough. Edinboro is playing extremely well. I'm sure you got the next graphic. I'm probably jumping ahead, but Slippery Rock and Indiana play this weekend. Seton Hill's doing a nice job. Got a big win, like I said, against Clarion on a comeback win. And then Clarion's playing really well. They've had a kind of a tough schedule, and their record doesn't indicate how well they're playing right now.
Well, before we jump ahead of the schedule, let's look at just how the PSAC East is shaping up. It's Kutztown 3-0 in conference, 3-3 overall. So, like I said, it looks like it's going to be a Kutztown, Bloomsburg, East Stroudsburg, and Shippensburg, and Westchester. There's 4 teams right there.
All 2-1 or 3-0. So that's going to come down to the wire, just like the West is, and interesting to see these games play out.
And let's take a look at the schedule for this coming week. It's hard to believe we're in the middle of October already. You see California Clarion at 6 o'clock. But Coach, as a fan, you can take your coach hat off for a second. But as a fan, what's a game that you would love to see if you weren't coaching as a fan?
That Slippery Rock at Indiana game is going to be a heck of a ball game. 2 big rivals going on. And it's funny, we all kind of play each other in a little round robin there for the last 3 weeks. So that's going to be a big one. The other one on the other side is Westchester at Bloom's a really big game because both those guys are 2-1, and to see kind of who comes out of that. And then Kutztown East Stroudsburg is going to be a good game to watch. So, a lot of really good college football games in Week 7 to get kind of the PSAC still moving forward. And
if you're a fan of college football, as you see the game times, you can watch or keep in touch with PSAC football pretty much from 11:50 in the morning to about 10:05 at night. So that's one of the good things about the league and having so many games. But Coach, like I said, this Saturday at Clarion, any final thoughts going into that game?
Yeah, just we've got to take care of ourselves. We got to put the focus, and I think I've said this every week on this show. We got to put the focus on California and do everything we can to make sure that we're getting better. Football teams can go 2 ways in the middle of the season. They can get in a drag and go through the motions, or continue to work on your fundamentals, your discipline, and getting better every day. And hopefully that's the approach we're going to take. And
it's been successful so far this year, and hopefully it will continue. So, Coach, good luck once again. The game will be live on 91.9 FM WCAL. Unfortunately, CUTV will not be able to broadcast the game due to Clarion having a contract with another vendor. But we'll be back next week with the homecoming game. And And it's hard to believe we're even saying it's homecoming. But like I said, it's just calendar keeps turning and turning and turning. But, Coach, good luck this weekend, and hopefully next week, this time, we'll be in the same spot, and we can save the electricity bill with your smile.
Well, I appreciate it, and I sure appreciate all the fans that came out to Addison Stadium this weekend. It was I know I said it earlier, but unbelievable crowd, and hopefully we'll get the same thing when we get back off the road.
All right, thanks again, Coach, and good luck this weekend. You've been watching The Gary Dunn Show right here on CUTV, and we'll see you next week.